What's going on? What's going on, film fam? Welcome to another episode of Let the Film Speak. I am one of your hosts, Chop. Here, my main man, Willie Jack. Willie Jack, how you living, my dog?
Man, look, excited to be back. Was super disappointed, man. A little scheduling fiasco we had last week, man. So a couple of y'all reached out, man. We apologize for that, man. It was something we tried to have it set up ready to go, man. But good to be back. And then first day back, and I'm having technical difficulties right now as well. So y'all gonna have to bear with me.
Well, you know how that go, Willie Jack, man. And yeah, I second that too. That's something I was gonna mention as well, man. We apologize for those. You know, we usually hear, man, 7 o'clock on the dot each and every week, man. Y'all know we usually don't miss that, so we apologize for that, man. We just had a lot of stuff going on. But without further ado, man, we are here now. We are here now. We are back at it. Of course, we got a good show for y'all today. We're going through some more of this draft talk. We got tight ends that we're going into today. You know, so we definitely gonna jump into those tight ends. We're gonna break that down. One of the deeper position groups coming into the draft this year, man. So I was actually excited as I was going through a lot of the names, you know, that's going to be into this draft this year. So we're definitely going to get into that today. But before we do that, man, we got a couple things for you. Of course, you know, we got house rules. First off the bat, you know, that's like, share, and that's subscribe. That's first things first, man. Become the newest member of the Film Fam. You know, man, come join us. You know, be involved, talk to us. We talk back, as I always say. And then also, man, you gotta hit the notification bell. How else are you gonna know exactly what's going on when we got another episode coming out? You know what we're gonna be talking about. All that information. You need all that information, man, to come here and chit chat with us, talk this game, talk this football with us. You think you know something, man? Come on in here, hit the notification bell, and I guarantee you, we will not let you down. All right, Willie Jack. Of course, we got to get into the news first, man. And we had a couple things happening this week. I know a lot of y'all probably seen a lot of what's going on over the past, few weeks or so. But we're gonna touch on it anyway, man. We're gonna touch on it anyway. First and foremost, man, it's official. It's official. My dog Willie Jack calls them the Magic Johnson Commanders.
Oh, Magic Johnson Commanders from here on out. Yeah, yeah.
But it's official, man. They have made the move. Dan Snyder has reached a deal to sell the Commanders, for a massive price, man. $6 million price tag, most expensive in league history, man. That the move is officially made. Willie Jack, what's your take on that one, man?
Nah, billion. You said 6 million, 6 billion.
I did. I'm sorry. I meant to say 6 billion. I apologize.
With a B.
With a B. B is in boy.
Yeah, man, that's a fact. But no, man, happy to see it, man. Dan Snyder was one of the bottom 3 owners in this league for a lot of reasons, and half those reasons outside of the way the team performed under his, I guess, tenure as owner. You know what I mean? And so a lot of stuff came out in the wash. A lot of stuff that we can assume came out in the wash because not as much of it has been, made just open and obvious for the public. But out with the trash, man. In with something new. I'm glad this new ownership group, you know what I'm saying, has a little pepper in the salt. You know what I mean? We got a little diversity, man. So Magic Johnson, a very a minority stake for sure, but still a recognizable name of a person of color, a black man, a well-respected businessman, and athlete himself. And so, yeah, man, it feels like anything that Magic Johnson has had his name attached to has found some style of success. You know what I mean? So when he was in the league, he was a champion. He got into the front offices. He built contending style of teams. He's got numerous businesses and things of that nature. So he can only be an asset and a value. And like I said, man, I'm just excited to see if they let Magic put a little bit of his own flair in the organization as well, man. So I'm just curious to see if he has any style of like tangible impact on it, or if he's just a name on a list of names. But either way, happy for Magic Johnson. Glad to see the Commanders, like I said, get change hands for sure. And like I said, man, they are right now. They are Magic Johnson's Commanders. You know what I'm saying? They were still the football team. If you talk to your boy, if you was asking me, they were still the football team for 2 years. Now y'all can be Magic Johnson's Commanders, man. I'm ready.
You ready for that? You ready for that change?
Yeah.
And Willie J, I agree with a lot of the things that you said, man. But we all knew it was time. I'm not gonna spend too much time on this, but we all knew that it was time for them to make that change. With the trajectory of this organization in terms of where they were going, and their, I guess you could say, the way people looked at them, the way people viewed them as an organization. So yeah, it was about that time. It was about that time, and of course, they made the move. The deal is official, and now we have new owners. In this group, new owners in this group. All right, on to the next one, Willie Jack. Another piece of good news, I could say. A sign of relief and a guy that, of course, there was a lot, to talk about towards the end of the season. And right now we're talking about Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin, man. Of course, we all seen the tragic incident that happened on the field. The man practically died on the field. Of course, thanks to a wonderful training staff from the Bills that came out there and did everything that they had to do, save this young man's life, in which now he is fully cleared to play football again, which is his dream, which is something he said all along. This is something that he wanted to do. And, like I said, thanks to that staff, thanks to all the doctors that were involved in this situation, that he is able to get back in and get to it, man. Able to get back and get to it, and he actually spoke a little bit on this issue as well, and and talked a little bit about the injury and talked a little bit about his journey and things like that, man. But all I can say is I'm 100% grateful, man. We all were praying for you. You know what I mean? Of course, a lot of people love the football game, man. But at the end of the day, you got a life, life to live. Things that you need to accomplish, and now you have a tremendous story to tell and could be a great example for a lot of young kids out there today, man. So kudos and shout out to Damar Hamlin, man. He has been cleared and he can now play football again, in the NFL, starting this upcoming 2023-2024 NFL season. You mute. I can't hear you. I can't hear you, brother. I can't hear you. You on mute.
Man, I'm going through it today, man. I apologize for you, man. But just like my dog said, man, agree with the things he said, man, for sure. I had to put a love to see it in the chat, man. So shout out to Damar Hamlin. And like I said, man, it's one of those things where very, very scary for all involved. Not even those on the field on both teams, but people who saw it on TV. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, shout out and tremendous job by the medical staff that not only, I guess resuscitated him in the moment, and then all the treatment and care that I'm sure he went through thereafter to get to this point where now he can have a choice about whether or not he wants to play. And then he's a young guy, man. He was 23. He had found his way into the starting lineup, and so his career, his dream was just taken off in his right before his own very eyes, and then to almost have it snatched away just that quickly as well. And so, man, I can't imagine how just traumatic and how he's felt. I mean, even let's say a guy. I'm a Steelers fan, of course. Y'all know what's going on. But a guy like Ryan Shazier also was a young guy and had the game taken away from him. Like I said,
he's very good linebacker for you guys too.
Yeah, man, was really starting to come into his own. And man, we've been trying to replace him since. It's been 5 years. You know what I'm saying? And so, but just that fast, how this game could be taken away from you. You know what I'm saying? And so to see Damar have his own, I guess, instance where where maybe his playing days could have been done, and now to see that they aren't, if he chooses to continue, and he chose to do so. So, man, I wish him nothing but the best. Man, healthy, safe, and sound this way going forward, man. So, congratulations to you, sir.
For sure, Damar. We definitely rooting for you, dog. That's good. That's coming from your Let the Film Speak fan. We rooting for you for sure.
Let's go.
Yeah. But speaking of the Steelers, Willie Jack, let's go ahead and talk about them. And let's talk about our teams together, Willie Jack. And this one I wasn't too happy about. And I know Willie Jack put it in the group, man. But the Steelers and the Rams agree to a deal that sends a 7th round pick, or the Rams send a 7th round pick and wide receiver Allen Robinson to the Steelers, and the Steelers send a 7th round pick back, as well as will be paying a little bit over $5 million of Allen Robinson's salary, while the Rams still pay a little bit over $10 million of Allen Robinson's salary. So look, I'm gonna check this out, man. I'm gonna get straight to the point. Rams, I don't know what's going on, bro. I know we got the Super Bowl, you know what I mean? And I appreciate it. I celebrate it. You know what I'm saying? I had a great time. You know what I mean? It's going to be at least about 29 to 30 of the teams, depending on if one of these teams repeat, that ain't sniffed the Super Bowl since we had ours. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited about that. But right now, this position that we in, man, I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? I don't like it because, one, I really don't. I don't know what to make sense of with this move. We're giving away a receiver, giving away a 7th round pick. We're getting back a 7th round pick, and we still got to pay 2/3 of the man's salary. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I'm not sure what the angle was on this. Maybe they're trying to do whatever they can to save a little bit of money. I don't know what's going on with this because, like I said, you still got to pay a lot of the salary. So. Well, maybe you can make sense of it, Willie Jack. I don't know, man.
Well, honestly, Kudos to Omar Khan and Andy Weidel and the Steelers front office for
And here,
doing
hold on,
y'all
one point.
thing.
I ain't mean to cut you off because watch he go over there and get 1,000 yards of 70, 80 catches. You know what I'm saying? That is, I pay a wide receiver $5 million and give up a 7th round pick for that any day of the week.
Yeah,
And watch him go over there and do that.
and this was crazy. So I mean, so it was when he came over to you guys, he signed a pretty good contract with 3 for 45, so $15 million a year for a guy who outside of the last year in Chicago was like an injury year. The 2 years before that, he went over 1,000 yards. He was somewhere closer to about 11 to 1,200 yards, and so and the 3 years before that, he had been productive with Blake Bortles in Jacksonville. And so he looked to be a guy who's been able to produce without having a quality quarterback. To a lesser extent, DeAndre Hopkins, you know what I'm saying, who was able to perform and put up pretty solid numbers without having a dependable guy at the quarterback position. And so he goes to the Rams, and like I said, man, just doesn't – him and Stafford looks to not be able to get on the same page. Now, here's the thing about the deal. So he was going to be cut for sure, is what they were saying. Like they were just going to cut him in a salary cap dumping move or whatnot. And then I guess so rather than cut him, they just try to salvage anything back that they can. And so I guess the best that they could do was swapping seventh. They traded 7th-round picks with us. So our 7th-round pick was 17 spots better than y'all's. So we just switched places. We didn't even just give y'all the 7th. Like we swapped places. And then you guys, I guess he was due, I think, whatever the guaranteed money was for this year. You guys had already paid 5, and then he was due another 5, and then I guess you guys are going to pay that second 5 as well. Just going to leave us the remaining $5 pay throughout the season. So, man, pretty one-sided deal. But I think that's just like you were saying. Like, man, when y'all sold for that Super Bowl. I mean, this is the fallout. This is you know what I'm saying? So this is the fallout, and cap hell essentially. And so that Allen Robinson deal had to go. You already shed the contracts of Jalen Ramsey and
he went for a bag of Skittles. You know,
there you go. King size bag, barely. You know what I'm saying, by comparison. But then also, man, still dealing with even the structure of Stafford's contract, which is also like crazy inhibiting, given like you said where you guys are in the cap. And so all told, man, I guess hindsight is one of those things where, yeah, it's gonna be it was a rough season last season. It's looking like it's gonna be another rough one this year. But all told though, Chop, even looking at these, let's say if this year and even next season is a little ugly, you got that bowl though, bro. Yeah. You got that bowl, man.
That's what I said. Like
got one of these, man. So
within 3 years, man, like I said, it's gonna be a lot of teams that haven't gotten that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful, but right now it's still rough. You know what I'm saying? It's still rough.
At least you got the ring, because sometimes teams try to build these super teams or dream teams and you don't win, and then you still have this fallout or this blowback. And so y'all paid the price and y'all got the reward. And so, like I said, now it's just all about sleeping in the bed y'all made for a little bit. But
I see, and another part of it too, it wasn't the fact that we went in, it was the fact that we doubled down the year after that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, we went and got all these players. Okay, now let's go get Bobby Wagner. Now let's go bring in Allen Robinson, pay him a ton of money. Now, you know what I'm saying? It was like we doubled down on it. Like, oh yeah, this is a formula. We finna go win again, and everything just went to you know what I'm saying, that year. So
yeah, and I can see and a little bit of that with the Allen Robinson. Well, even with both of those guys, because inside linebacker was always kind of a weaker spot in that defense. And so Bobby Wagner's out there. Okay, you go get him. But then you got to remember the impact that OBJ had on y'all Super Bowl run. And so then he's injured. And then, of course, it was a 1-year deal anyway. So he's gone. So I think what you guys are probably thinking is like, okay, well, we've got to at least try to do something to fill that hole. We don't just want to leave it there coming off the Super Bowl. And so the Allen Robinson trade. But like I said, just never got on the page with Stafford. And then honestly, man, now that he's a Steeler, and so like different Steelers channels and blogs and things I watched, they looking into the trade. And bro, I've seen some film now. Stafford just wasn't fooling with Allen Robinson. There was yards out there. Bro, he's short. He's short about 30 catches in about 450 yards, bro.
I said this from jump. I'm a Rams fan. I will watch these games and I will watch him be open, and I will still watch him. What did I used to say, Willie Jack? Put the what?
Oh man, put the cup down.
Put the cup down.
Put the cup down, man.
Man, he would force Cup the ball, which is fine because Cup is getting busy. But at the same time, it's like, instead of giving him 15 targets a game, give him 12. He gonna get busy with 12 because Allen Robinson
He was
open
open those other three.
3 or 4 times.
He was open those other 3 for sure.
Going. You know what I'm saying? You forcing him those 4 other times that turn into incompletions, and then but you got him open his other 4 other times in the game. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But then it's 4th down. I want to heave it up to him because he can jump. He'll do a jump ball, man. That ain't what you paying him 45 million for, man. That's all I was saying, and I was just like, hey, man. I'm telling. That's what I was saying. I was watching it, man.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I just seen some footage myself now. Like, yeah, man, it was a cool 400 yards, man. And Stafford owed that boy just off the strength.
Off the strength, man. Off the strength. All right, Willie Jack. Let's keep on moving, man. We went on that, and let's touch on the biggest thing for that day, man. Not for the day, but for the week. Of course, I know everybody saw it, man. Jalen Hurts, man. Jalen Hurts signs a 5-year, $255 million contract, $179 million guaranteed. Willie Jack, holler at Alexa for me, dog. Holler at Alexa, man.
Hey, man. Hey, yo, Alexa, please cue the King Dolph get paid. Congratulations, sir. Big bag alert. Love to see it. The man, y'all know what's going on, man. The bag was secured, man. Major bag alert. The boy got himself a nice little bag, man. And so definitely love to see it, man. Y'all know what's going on with us, man. We love to see all the players get paid for sure.
For sure, man. For sure. We love to see it, man. Shout out Jalen Hurts, man. Getting paid $51 million a year, highest paid quarterback in NFL history, man. So shout out to you, man. You did your thing. You were a guy. I remind y'all. Y'all don't need to remind because y'all remember all the bad stuff I say, but that I did doubt, And again, I apologize again. You know what I'm saying? I keep apologizing, but you did your thing. You led the team to a Super Bowl, and hey, you went and got your bag, bro. So congratulations to you. But talk to me about this Willie Jack, and then also I do want to touch on like what does this mean for Lamar? Like do you feel like Lamar is worth a little bit, tad bit more, or talk to me.
No, and that's a good point, man. And the first thing I want to say is this contract, even deep, Lamar's the low hanging fruit. You know what I mean? Because he's already been in the news. But we can't forget Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert are coming up right behind him. Like they're the next 2 guys as well. So this contract is just as important for them as it is for Lamar as well. And so now one thing I saw, and I want to say it was Mike Florio. I want to say when his football podcast, Pro Football Tonight, whatever it was, and he was talking about the contract, and he was talking about kind of the specifics of how the actual guarantees break down, etc. He was saying that, I guess at the time of when he was talking about this, maybe all the numbers hadn't been released, but he was saying that as far as the guarantees, the actual structure of the guarantees, the guarantees that really make sense, what money is he getting tomorrow? He was saying that the first 2 years may not be in line with Daniel Jones' contract, where the first 2 years give him $80 million or something like that. So it definitely seems like it was or at least I guess there's hints around that it's a very cap friendly $51 million a year. If you can, however that maths, you know what I'm saying? However that 1 and 1 makes 3, who knows? You know what I mean? But there we go. Our dog Kevin in the building, man. Real deal STL Sports in the building. Appreciate you for PFT. There you go, man. Mike Florio does PFT. There we go. And so he was talking about the contract and how until everything officially gets settled. But the big thing is though, he definitely did set the new yearly mark at 51. It never set right with me that Aaron Rodgers had was the guy sitting at the top of that mountain. His time has come and went. You know what I mean? And so it's time for the new young blood, man. Now, I don't know what Justin Herbert will realistically sign for. I would imagine it's going to be something in line with Jalen Hurts, honestly. Joe Burrow's finna cash a big check. Joe Burrow's finna get paid. Everybody who gets paid just adds to Joe Burrow's contract. You know what I mean? So even when Lamar gets paid, Joe Burrow's contract was on top of that. You know what I mean? So Jalen Hurts got paid. Joe Burrow's contract tops that as well. You know what I'm saying? And so that's whose contract I'm really excited to see. And then, of course, like I said, I would hope. Well, another thing, speaking of Lamar, it sounds like, or I heard another report as well. It might also have been no, I don't think this one was Florio, but they were saying that Lamar is trending towards playing against this season. And it sounds like he made like a list of demands, so to say, much like Aaron Rodgers did for the Jets. Gave him a list of guys to go get. You get these guys, all right, I'll come back and play ball. And I'm paraphrasing, and this is also from another source that cannot confirm nor deny. You know what I mean? It's just things that they're saying. But apparently his wish list was OBJ and D Hop. Go get OBJ and D Hop. Show me y'all serious about giving me some weapons. I'll come back and play ball. You know what I mean? And so OBJ is in the books. D Hop is available on the block for trade. Now, who knows if or how that works, or if it goes through, or if it makes sense, if he wants to go there, that part as well. But you do get OBJ. You also brought over Nelson Aguilar as well, who's been pretty up and down. And then you still got a young, second or third year Rashad Perriman, or no, not Rashad Perriman, excuse me, Rashad Bateman, who showed a little bit in the one or the half a year he played, showed maybe he's got some potential there to build on. And so, like I said, man, we'll see how it all plays out. But before OBJ, I was 95% sure Lamar Jackson wasn't playing in the Ravens uniform. But now with OBJ, like I was saying when we talked about the news, there's no way I'm convinced that OBJ really takes that Baltimore bag. Well, he might because he got his ring, but I think he had to have some style of backdoor with Lamar. Like, hey, man, look, hey, come over and fool with your boy. You know what I mean? And I think he already came out and said that Lamar didn't guarantee he's playing. It is what it is. But when you go to Baltimore, when you're looking at that offense, we know what's going on with you. You already been to Cleveland and didn't get no touches, big dog. So we know you wasn't just going to Baltimore, man. So it's all good. All right.
You said I ain't fooling you, Willie Jack.
He ain't fooling me, man. Maybe he doesn't want to take some of the thunder out of Lamar's sails. You know what I'm saying? If he just let the cat out the bag, like, oh yeah, now Lamar coming back, man. He hollered at me. I'd have came here and played for him. Boom, boom, boom. But yeah, man, we'll see what's going on. But yeah, man. Honestly, I still don't think they get a contract done with Lamar. Short of someone after the draft, maybe throwing him a contract if they missed out on a guy or just don't like what they see. Short of that, I think maybe they do come to some very uneasy agreement to play this 1 year with whatever other weapons they're able to get for him, or if it's just OBJ, and then they revisit again. But yeah, man, I still don't see them getting a deal done this offseason. I'd be hard pressed to see it happen.
Gotcha. So let me ask you this then: do you feel like, they came up with the number that is 200 million guaranteed is what was another number that was turned down? Do you feel like Lamar Jackson?
No, I never liked that number because for one, and I always say, just like Florio was saying with these Jalen Hurts and these Jalen Hurts guarantees, until we know the actual structure of what was going to be his real deal, I signed my contract today, what money is mine today. Until we know that official number or that official breakdown, everything else is smoke. You know what I'm saying? Everything else is smoke. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even want to hold and use that $200 million number that's getting floated around now because, and also let's remember, the Ravens or somebody close enough to whoever that leaked that 200 number. Well, Lamar came out. Lamar said it was 133. And so if I'm going to believe an anonymous source who may be loosely connected to the Ravens, or what Lamar said, I choose to listen to what Lamar said. Lamar said it was 133.
But since that 133, contract negotiations have continued though, and I think this 200 million came after that 133.
But that's what I'm saying though. But I don't know where that $200 million number came from. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I'm not taking that at face value because honestly, if it was that easy, like I take everything that comes from the organization with a grain of salt. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I've seen enough times. I feel like I've seen or know enough to know that the word of these teams isn't SHIT. And so I'm not going to put it too far past where I could throw it. You know what I'm saying? Last number Lamar said was 133. 133 is we put on the books. And that 133 was at like 41, almost $42 million a year, which was BS. You know what I'm saying? Just flat out. So, and that one of the things I was saying where if you're not going to go full guarantee, he's at least got to get the Jalen Hurts. It's not fully guaranteed. He's the highest paid guy in the league. It's got to be some type of concession there. It's got to be something given. You know what I'm saying? Something given, something owed. Something given, something taken. So if you can't show up light in the guarantees, and then also at 42 a year, that's $4 million less than Kyler. It's $4 million less than Russell Wilson. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's trash. What are we doing? Well, we're speaking relative. $42 million is never trash. If somebody wants to give it to your boy, I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? So we're speaking.
Matter of fact, my hand itches.
Hey, do you hear me? Do you feel me?
If there's anybody out there with that 44, it's just in handy, just holler at your boy. Go ahead.
We gotta.
Hold on. Go ahead, bro. No,
my bad, man. And I should warn y'all as well. my internet is bugging out today, so I've got some stutters and some delays, but a couple good comments, man. We got some more of them members in the building, man. Isaiah Holmes, man, it's good to see you again, big dog. He in the chat, man. He said Lamar overplayed his hand and his play regressed year to year. And that's a fair take. But here the thing I would say is I don't necessarily think his play regressed, but he has been injured. He has been beat up. He has been in the tub instead of in the club. So I don't necessarily think he's less of a player when he's on the field. Because if we remember, for the first the first 6-8 weeks of this year, he was MVP Lamar again. Let's not forget, until he did start getting dinged up, we were calling him MVP Lamar again. You know what I'm saying? For like, I want to say like the first 6 or even 8 weeks of this season. And then they had that terrible loss to the Jets in like the fourth quarter.
His play started to regress after that.
His play started, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it coincides with him getting dinged up, and so that's been the crux of the argument. How much do you pay for a guy that hasn't played more than 12 games in the last 2 years? But I don't think his actual play, like I don't think he didn't look trash when we seen him healthy. He was playing well again, but then he got beat up again. It's kind of the trade-off that happened. And then he also commented and said, he got some draft talk for us, man. Hold on. Hey, Isaiah. Oh, I'm sorry, what did you say?
Nah, so he talking about what we're gonna jump into a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say, Isaiah, man, hey, it's a good comment, dog. You picked the right show. We're doing tight ends today. We're gonna circle back to this Chargers comment on Will Mallory. Will Mallory is a kid out of Miami. Was it Miami? I think Will Mallory was out of Miami, Miami tight end. I looked at a little bit of him. Zach Kuntz. I'm not gonna lie, man. I don't know if I got too deep into Zach Kuntz. I try to think.
He got an Old Dominion.
Okay, yeah. Let's say, yeah. I didn't get too deep into Kuntz. I took a little peek at Mallory though from Miami. I want to say, but yeah, we'll get into that, man, when we get to these guys. He got a couple tight end comments. Yeah, Isaiah, man, we coming right back to you, man. Here in a minute, we coming right back to you, big dog.
For sure. All right, Willie Jack. Well, I think it's about that time, man. We can do a we can go ahead and hit him with the shout out, man. Shout out to all the members that's in the group right now, man. And then Willie J, you can go ahead and talk to him and let him know what's going on, man.
Hey, them members is definitely in the building, man. We appreciate y'all. Other than that, man, today's episode of Let the Field Speak, hosted by the wonderfully intelligent and attractive men, Chop and Willie Jack. Your lovable long-time host. It's brought to you by the sponsorship, man. Now, today's sponsor, we throwing it back, man. Shout out to Real Deal STL Sports in the building, man. That's our dog, James Skinny Ward, man. That's our dog, Kevin Wilkinson, man. Real big holding us down, man. Also, brought to you by the good brothers of Prospect and Precision Paint. Now, they are an Atlanta-based paint and drywall restoration company, but it's 2023. I don't want to hear it. They in Atlanta. Plane, trains, and automobile, they can get to you, big dog. Come on, man. We can get anywhere across the country, man. Anywhere in these 50 USA states. So holler at them, man. Good work. Good work sells itself, man. I'm going to give them a plug because y'all just don't know no better. But reach out, man. Reach out, touch base. And like I said, you won't be disappointed. Also brought to you by the brothers of No Balls, No Glory. You can find those brothers doing their thing on YouTube on Thursday evenings now. They get into a wide range of topics, man. Our dog BP, man, he's a baseball guy. He's a part of it's a local St. Louis or Missouri Baseball Hall of Fame. Shout out to you again, BP, man. He got that news a couple months ago, but I don't know if I shot him out on the show, man. BP, Baseball Hall of Famer in the state of Missouri. Or, man, I don't want to misquote you. The boys in somebody Hall of Fame. I tell you that much, man. No Balls, No Glory Thursdays, man. Y'all can check those guys out, man. Brought to you by the long time, man. The OG, man. The dude who been holding us down from the gate, man. That's our dog, Brother Red, man. No Votes, the podcast, man. You can find those guys on they're on Facebook, they're on Spotify, they're on an assortment of podcasts, different podcast platforms. You can find it and check those guys out as well, man. So an eclectic range of topics. He's a music head, man. He's heavy into hip hop. He touches all sports. He's got a little social aspect to some of his posts as well. So good content over there, man. I actually did a guest spot on No Vultures podcast a couple weeks ago, man. We did a boxing episode. I'm a huge boxing fan. Some of y'all may know. So if y'all get time, man, go ahead and check that out. And then last but not least, we would be remiss if we didn't shout out the three amigos, man. That's like, that, share, that, subscribe. That's 3 the hard way. That's 3-piece spicy. Now, y'all know what's going on. We're going to make this quick. Tell a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend, tell your friend's friend to tell his friend, and y'all come in here and kick with your dogs, man. We're in the penthouse. Come up top, ring the bell first, you know what I'm saying, and then come in and make yourself real comfortable. Y'all see what's going on with those members. You get in the chat, drop a little, hey, what's up, how you doing? Shout out to Teresa Cowan, shout out to Kiara Jackson, shout out to Kevin Wilkinson, Real Deal STL Sports in the building, and shout out to our resident San Diego, no you're not, Los Angeles Superchargers fan Isaiah Holmes, man. We appreciate y'all in here early and often, man. And we're gonna get right into the mix.
All right, man. All right, Willie Jack. I appreciate that, man. I like how you did that. Brought a little fire to it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah, look, yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Drop a fire in the comments, man. Drop a
Yeah, there
fire in
you
the
go.
comments real quick, man. But look, hey, we are here to talk about tight ends today, man. We done talked about them a little bit, you know, through a couple of the episodes, man. But today we're gonna do a little deep dive. We're gonna do our top 5 tight ends, man. Each one of us have our own list, of course. Willie always tell y'all, but I'm gonna tell y'all too, man. We do not talk about each other until we get on here about our tight ends, man. So you know, I don't know who on his list right now. He don't know who on mine, but we're gonna definitely touch on. But before we jump into it, though, I did see a comment that I wanted to kind of touch on. In terms of what Isaiah was saying. The first thing he said, the first comment he said, I heard mine too. He says none of the tight ends deserve a first round pick. None of these guys are the full package, man. And I'll say this to you, Isaiah. Full package. I don't. It's tough to say, but I'm gonna say this is some tight ends in this league that's for real. That's in this draft that I feel like are for real. You know what I'm saying? We definitely gonna jump into them, but I wanted to touch on that first before we jump into it. Willie, you got any comment on that one, man? Because I feel like it's some tight ends in here that's the real deal.
No, and honestly, and I guess I understand where he's going with that to a certain extent because for me, tight end almost like running back is not necessarily like a premium primetime position. And so it is almost an ancillary position unless you have one of those style of true difference makers. So unless you Kyle Pitts, you know what I'm saying? It's not often that you're going that high. And then also we got to think about as well, a lot of the early drafted tight ends haven't necessarily panned out. We're still waiting to see Kyle Pitts pan out. But guys like Eric Ebron, he didn't really.
You know what's crazy?
What's up?
That boy got. I think he got back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. We talking, man. We waiting on him to pan out.
Who, Kyle Pitts? Oh no, you know what? I should say that. Well, he had 1,000 yards the first year.
No. What I'm saying is, it's crazy that we actually saying this because we know what he's fully capable of. He's definitely capable of more. He's capable of more, but it's like, dang, that's crazy. Like to think about, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, no, and that's you know what my dog Chop just did. He just reminded y'all why this show is called Let the Film Speak. Because every 1,000 ain't the same. Brandon Cooks gave y'all 1,000 yards for 8 years. He's been on 8 teams. You know what I'm saying? So them thousands ain't the same, boy. Them thousands don't spin everywhere like they supposed to. But I guess, but he makes a very good point because he has produced, but he hasn't necessarily. When you get drafted top 5 as a tight end and people come in calling you the unicorn, I was one of those people, so I won't be ashamed to say it because the boy was a freak. But you know what I'm saying? We want to see. I want to see Travis Kelce. You know what I'm saying? I want to see the next version of Travis Kelce.
And I said back to back. I'm sorry, he got injured last year. He definitely didn't have 1,000 last year, but he had 1,000 his rookie year.
Sure. Yeah, and then that's the thing too. He gave us 1,000 yards, and then people complain he didn't have enough touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? So it's never going to be enough. But no, what I will say is though, getting back to Isaiah, for me, you need to be truly special or a difference maker to go first round. Now, I do think with the way this league is going, there's probably one guy that I would say I take in the first round. You know what I mean? But even still, it's tight end for me. It's almost a luxury pick. So you got to have solid quarterback play. You got to have a solid line. You can't have no holes on defense. There's a couple positions I want to check off before I say, okay, yeah, we can bring in one of these guys and really just kind of be the icing on our cake, be the cherry on our sundae. You know what I mean? But no. And then if you think about it, the best guys in this league were drafted what, 3rd round and beyond. Travis Kelce was a 3rd or 4th round guy to Cincinnati. George Kittle, I think, was a day of what? I don't know if he was 3rd or 4th round guy out of Iowa, I think. Darren Waller was an undrafted wide receiver out of Georgia Tech. Those would be the 3 guys, 3 of the top 5. Mark Andrews was the 2nd tight end drafted by the Ravens in that same year. Hayden Hurst went in the 1st round. Mark Andrews out of Oklahoma went in the 4th round. You know what I mean? So almost kind of, that's why I would say it kind of reminds me a little bit of the running backs where maybe there's not as many that hit because it feels like you fall off a tree and hit a running back. So I'm not saying that every tight end kind of be pluck and found like that, but the best 5 guys in the league were all 3rd round picks and beyond, or you know what I'm saying. So you don't necessarily have to spend that capital to necessarily hit big, but I do think there's one of these guys that I would feel comfortable for sure in the first, and there's another one that if you're telling me the back half of the first or something like that, the right team, right situation, I can see it. But for me, tight ends is not a high priority draft for me, just on GP.
For sure, I got you, Willie Jack. Well, you made me go first last time, so guess what I'm gonna do, Willie Jack?
Oh yeah, I'm ready today.
You ready today?
Okay. Yeah, man. I ain't gonna lie. Today's list is I felt the best about today's list than I have in a while.
Okay, well, talk to me then. Who you got at number 5, Willie Jack?
Man, Isaiah, you in this building, man. Let's get the party started. Number 5 for me. I'm gonna go. I said that. I'm gonna go Luke Musgrave. I'm gonna go Luke Musgrave out of Oregon State. And so the only problem with Luke Musgrave is he just didn't play enough football. You know what I mean? So he only played in 2 games this year before he missed the rest of the year with injury. And then he played the year before, of course, but he hadn't really popped or taken off. The thing I got from watching Luke Musgrave is, for one, if he wasn't in a scheme or a system that really promoted, he could have been a guy. I'll say his name. I'm sure he's probably on both our lists. He's a guy that needed usage like Michael Mayer in Notre Dame. Like, who on Oregon State's offense, where we build his offense around, we got a 6'6", 250-pound manimal that can run with anybody on the field. Who's getting the ball on Oregon State's team that he's not? What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? And so now, one of the games he did play, and he had a big day. He played Illinois. Why that's important is because Illinois got a safety we both like, Sidney Brown, who's gonna be a guy that gets drafted. He's probably gonna go in the second round. He's probably gonna go somewhere in the second round. Athletic, marvel, this kid. He's super athletic. He's only 5'10", but he's a real thick built, 5'10", 210, runs 4.3, jumps 40 inches. So he's probably the most athletic safety they got. Boy, he got some work that day. Luke Musgrave gave Sidney Brown some work. You know what I'm saying? 9 for 115. Now, not all 9 of those were on Sidney Brown, but I tell you one that was. He gave him a little baby stick knife right off the line and hit that boy for 30, 40 yard of them things right up the thing. He had to chase him down to come get him. And this is a 6'6", 250-pound gazelle, you know what I'm saying, running down the middle of the field. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, what the hell is wrong with Oregon State? You know what I'm saying? How don't this boy have 12 targets a game? You know what I'm saying? It just didn't matter. And so I see a guy that's definitely got his best days ahead of him. I love his size. I love the way he moves. Like I said, it's one of those things where, like I said, I think, dog, he in 3 years, if he's not the best of these guys, like he's the guy that he's the biggest boomer bust. Well, I don't even think it's bust. I think he's too big, he's too athletic, and he's got enough to have a decent floor. Where maybe he doesn't shoot up like a rocket in the sand, but I don't think he'll ever be a bad. He'll carry his weight at the very least. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he'll be a bust, but he's a guy that I can really see like piercing through to that next tier of like, no, he's a real difference maker. You know what I'm saying? And then looking at him, I'll tell you who he put me in the mind of. It put me in the mind of Dallas Goedert a little bit. I think a faster, less refined Dallas Goedert. I think maybe it was like his size and his build. And I should have looked that up too. Because when I was looking, I was like, he kind of, because I feel like Dallas Goedert's like a taller, kind of a little leaner built guy, but he's a seam threat. He's a seam. He can open up and actually run a little bit. You know what I mean? And you don't use him for quick hitters. He's not your 5-yard dump off safety valve. You know what I'm saying? That's not what he is. Like, nah, you hit him for 18 over the middle. You know what I'm saying? You hit him, you take him up top. You know what I'm saying? Let him really be a threat that way. And it kind of put me in the mind of Dallas Goedert. But like I say, I think he plays this full season. He's probably a guy that's going in the bottom of the first round. But that size, that athleticism, and like I said, just the way we've seen him be dynamic with the ball in his hands and limited instances. Like I said, so I like. There's a lot there, and a lot to still. There's still a lot more on that bone.
Okay,
Musgrave number 5 for me.
And I like Luke Musgrave as well, Willie Jack. And I actually got him on my list too, so I won't talk too much about him. But I understand where you're coming from and where you got him on your list, man. But my number 5 guy is a tight end out of Georgia, man. I'm gonna go Darnell Washington, man. Darnell Washington, man. I really like what he brings. Well, what he brings to the table, in a sense, is it's almost like automatic. It's almost like a center that you can draft that's gonna get you 15 and 15 every single night. Like if you don't count on nothing else, you can't count on anything else that's gonna happen in the game. He's gonna get you 15 and 15 every night. And I think that's the kind of size and ability that Darnell Washington brings. Okay. First and foremost, the guy's huge, 6'7", 264. Okay. He is another he's first off, he's a matchup nightmare in the red zone. You know what I'm saying? Large wingspan, great hands. We've seen, countless one-hand catches by the guy. Big catch radius from what he brings to the table. Now, he is not the tight end that moves side to side very well. You know what I'm saying? He's not the tight end that you're gonna count on to beat man coverage, and create a lot of separation. If he does beat man coverage, it's gonna be because the ball was thrown to him and he's just too big. He can outsize whoever's guarding him and catch the ball. That's the way he's gonna traditionally beat man coverage. So you won't see him doing it in that way. Like I said, it doesn't have the agility and change the direction to create much separation on his routes. Usually, like I said, his physicality is what helps him. And speaking of his physicality, he's almost like another offensive lineman when you line him up there, which creates matchup problems because you're not going to bring no safety down to guard him. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that with no safety because you bring a safety down there, we're going to run right behind him and he's going to maul whoever's right there because he's a monster in the run game. You know what I'm saying? That's what he can do very well. In that run game, he can get out there and be a mauler. Also, they like to use him and pull him a lot. And in those double and triple tight end sets, you know what I'm saying? They pull him around and they run it right behind him. And there's nothing a defensive back. There's no defensive back out there that wants to see that coming towards him. A 6'7", 265-pound tight end running full speed towards him. And to me, I value that a lot because not only does he add more to your run game, being that other offensive lineman for you, but he's still a threat in the passing game. So when I go play action, you know what I'm saying, I got my linebackers dropping down, boom, I got this 6'7" guy right over the top of my linebacker, you know what I'm saying, they can catch this 15-yard seam route, you know what I'm saying, and move the chains for me. So no, he's not going to be that pass catching tight end that's going to get you 6-7 catches a game for 80, 90 yards and a couple touchdowns. But I think he can get you 3 to 4 big catches a game, you know what I'm saying, and crucial situations, you know what I'm saying, and to help move those chains. And I think that's very valuable in my opinion. So I like what I see from him in terms of that.
No, and shout out to our dog, man, Isaiah Holmes in the building, man. He said Darnell is like a 10 and 10 guy who gives you a few blocks and he doesn't see explosive. And I see where he's going for that because he was the sidekick to the Bowers kid, number 19, on that Georgia team, who's a stud. Now that's a guy that's a guy kind of like we were talking about before. He's going top 15 next year.
Who did you say?
I think his last name is Bowers. The other tight end, number 19 for Georgia.
Oh yeah, no, come on. Yep. The other guy. No,
he's a stud. He's a stud. He's a bona fide stud. So he's the guy that's going to probably go top 15. So he's playing on the same time with this team, with this guy as well. But I don't necessarily, your analogy there, Isaiah Holmes, I don't think it's off because to this point, he has been more so just kind of like my dog said, and I'm going to get deeper into him because he's on my list just a little later on, so I'll save. But the one thing, Brock Bowers, there we go. Thank you. Brock Bowers is the guy from Georgia, number 19. I couldn't think of his first name. But what I would say is, to me, like he's a 10 and 10 guy, 10 points, 10 boards, 2 blocks. So, solid, but nothing special. But to me, I think he's Giannis Antetokounmpo. Boy, did I say that? Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now I can't do it again. He's a Greek freak before the glow up. That's what I see. I think he's Giannis before Giannis figured out how to move in his big ass body. And now look at the first 3 years of Giannis, just a skinny rebounding kid who can run a little bit. You know, he can run and rebound. You know what I'm saying? Get you your 10 to 10, 12 to 12, whatever it was. And now look at Giannis. Now Giannis has figured out, wait, I'm way bigger than everybody. Wait, I can run just as fast as everybody else. Man, get your little ass off me, man. I'm doing all type, you know what I'm saying? And now boys get 40 when I feel like it. That's what I think I see. So I don't disagree with what you said to him at this point. But like I said, man, I think his best is still he's just now starting to just he's just now cracking his surface where he can be.
And see, my thing is, I don't see the agility coming. Like I don't see that part of his game coming.
I don't think he's gonna be agile. I don't. He's a little further up my list. I had to come back to him.
Okay, all right.
you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? But
yeah.
yeah,
Come back to him, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more, man. But let me
yeah.
go ahead and jump to my number 4. My number 4 is Luke Musgrave. Okay, Luke Musgrave. Now, Luke Musgrave for me is the second best tight end, but he, like you said, only played a couple games. You know what I'm saying? Also, he didn't play against some of the top competition either. That's another thing that I saw. You know, he wasn't going against the top guys week in and week out. But from everything that I saw in terms of, size, the way he moves, his athletic ability, his hands, like all those different things, those served as positives for me. You know what I'm saying? Very smooth in his transitions, with his routes. He's very unpredictable as well. You know what I'm saying? So I watched him in the way that he runs his routes, and he always runs them in a way where it's like you don't know what he's going to do. Is he going to block? Is he going to run up the field? What is he going to do? You know what I'm saying? He's very unpredictable, and he has a knack for creating separation. And it comes natural to him. It was one play I was watching. I forget who it was going against. Maybe it was against Boise State, where he was running like a corner route, and the guy was on him, and he gave him a little elbow, created a little separation, caught the ball on the pass on the sideline, 20-yard pass for a first down. Now, yeah, it's people. A lot of people say, "Oh, he pushed off a little bit, whatever." Man, but when you in the game, if you can get away with that stuff, you had
Oh
those.
no, that's nuance. That's nuance. That's not pushing off. That is
That's
nuance, big
that's a
dog.
part, that's a part of being good as a tight end. That's
Yeah,
a part of it. Like I watch guys get away with a lot of stuff all the time, and
yeah.
if you know how to pull some of that slick stuff and get away with it, oh man, kudos to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I ain't mad at you, man. And he has some of those things. When I say he has a knack for creating that separation, you know what I'm saying? Good hands catcher. He'll go up and make those contested catches down the field. You know what I'm saying? Now, in terms of the blocking game, I like to analyze that side of the game too. He's not no bully blocker. He's not gonna maul you. You know what I'm saying? But he will get in there and set them ankles. You know what I'm saying? He will get in there and box you out and create that lane for his running back to run off his butt. You know what I'm saying? To get upfield. You know what I'm saying? I will see that, which a lot of times that's all you need. You know what I'm saying? You don't need a guy that all the time to come in there and maul you and, push you 3 or 4 yards off the line of scrimmage or whatever the case may be. But he is a guy that, like I said, he knows his angles. He'll set those angles. He'll get in there. He'll put his nose in there. You know what I'm saying? But that's just not his game. He's not a super physical type of guy. But as a tight end, I think he's a top two guy, man. When fully healthy, when he can play a full season. But the knee injury, man, of course, you got to see guys come back from that, man. And some guys don't come back the same, And I just, even though he's young, saying he's going into it, you have to see that first. So that's why I got him in my number 4 spot and not higher up, actually.
No, and that's just it was the injury was a lot of it for me, and like I said, it just wasn't. Everything is there. Like I said, it doesn't take much to see. Like, nah, this dude's a specimen. This dude's a real. He's a guy. You know what I'm saying? Like this, he looks and moves like he's a real factor, like a real guy. But like I said, coming off the injury, so little production, and so you know what I mean. And so I feel you there. I feel everything you said there as well. That's why he's 5 on my list. Like I said, he's definitely a guy. I've got some lists where I had him as high as 3, but yeah, I ended up going with 5 just based on those things.
All right, well, give me your 4-3 now, Willie Jack. I need a
Oh,
vote.
yes, sir. Number 4 for me, man. Now this is where I've got Michael Mayer from Notre Dame. So 6'5", 250 pounds, or right around 250 pounds. And this is, and you know what, sticking to basketball analogies, man. Shout out to our dog Isaiah, if you're still in here, Isaiah. Michael Mayer for me is Christian Laettner from Duke. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was an all-world player at Duke, got to the league, boy, couldn't bust a grape. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not. Well, let me just say what I say. So he's definitely a traditional inline tight end. And one of the things I said about Luke Musgrave is that Notre Dame really made sure to key and feature him in that offense. So he's doing things. He's being used like he's George Kittle. They run tight end screens and little things like that he's just not the athlete to be able to do. And you know what I'm saying? Or just the way he's used. I think they over. They put too much trust, I guess, in this athleticism. But this is the thing about Michael Mayer for me. And it tends to happen like this when the guys come in where you know their name before you even watch the film. They were calling Michael Mayer Baby Gronk. Baby Gronk is what sites were calling him. So when I turn on the film, I'm looking for Baby Gronk. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see Baby Gronk. No, I seen a regular. I ain't gonna say regular. I seen a regular everyday tight end that gets drafted every year. There'll be a Michael Mayer in this draft next year. So that's why he's not. That's why he's only at 4 in my list. Now he's got phenomenal hands. I'll tell you that right now. He's got some of the most reliable hands I think out of. Well, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, it's some ballers on this list, but I would still say he's got top 2 hands out of the guys that made my 5, and especially like contested catches, combat catches, guys draped over him going up over guys and catching and coming down with the passes. I feel really good about his hands there, but then the other side of that is he's always covered. Every catch is contested because he can't get open. You know what I'm saying? And so you can survive like that. You can live like that in this league. But I'm saying like the guys that are in his hip pocket, the guys that are on his shoulder and he's making those catches, well, guess what, big dog? When you go to the league, those guys are a little bit bigger, they're a little bit stronger, they're a little bit faster. So now that guy that was a hair away from deflecting that pass or knocking out your hand, now he made that play. You know what I'm saying? Or you just was covered up and you couldn't even get the ball. Like he's just he's just a lumbering average athlete. And so I don't think he's, like I said, we've seen this. We saw this guy get drafted 2 years ago. We'll see him get drafted next year again. It's a guy. Now his production was outstanding, like I said, but that's usage. Luke Musgrave could have gave me that production if they gave him the ball. He just didn't get the ball. So I don't get too caught up in all of that. Now, but not to say at all that he's not going to be a very successful player. I think he is. But in my comparison, guys going to argue that this guy's a Hall of Famer, etc. I'm not knocking it because Michael Mayer is a fantastic player coming into the league. But it put me in the mind of Jason Witten. I'm not the first guy to say that either. I know somebody else said that. But it really does put you in the mind of Jason Witten because Jason Witten was the 3 yards in the cloud of dust of the tight end position. Man, you got me where you found me. You hit me for 10 yards, I gave you 10. Because I can't go nowhere else. There's no separation. So he is a security blanket that sits down. He sits down, gets his 10, moves your first down, but you can't expect too much more. Now, if he's got a lane, if he's got an alley, he'll open up and run, but he's just never going to be a guy that's going to threaten to take you up top. Or I don't see it. Now, not as far as just catching and running. There's not going to be any highlight George Kittle, Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, open field. I broke 3 dudes off, and then I ran one more. That's just not his game, man. That's not where he's at with it. Jason Witten, like I said, 10 yards, turn around, boom, put it right here. Got your big dog. Maybe I got 1 or 2 more in me. I'm going down. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just where I see his game. And so there's definitely a place for that. And then here's another thing as well. And this is also why I don't even necessarily that Jason Witten comparison is still a little much because he's not a transcendent block. He's an adequate blocker, but he's not mauling guys off the line. Like when you told me Baby Gronk blocked like Trent Williams and he caught the ball like Randy Moss. You know what I'm saying? So that's the big shoes to put on. You know what I'm saying? So he's a adequate blocker. He's not special or above many more of these guys outside of Darnell Washington, who he's 2 more Skittles. Somebody's gonna ask him to play right tackle. You know what I'm saying? He's get 3 of them Popeyes biscuits. And somebody's gonna ask him to play right tackle, dog. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I say. So he's not extremely dynamic or overpowering as a run blocker. And then in the passing game, he's 10 yards turn around. 10 yards turn around, I hit you. You get what you give him. You know what I'm saying? If you give him a 10-yard catch, he gave you 10 yards. You give him a 12-yard out, he gave you 12 yards. You know, I just don't see the upside as far as something else that makes him dynamic. But that floor, his floor where he is still very impressive. Like I say, he's a guy that was at the very beginning of the process, he was the guy talked about being the easy number 1 pick. People were saying he may get looks in the top 10. I don't see that at all. He's a guy where if you're asking me, I would say he's a 2nd-round guy. But if you're telling me if you're the right team and you need just a dependable security blanket and you're at the bottom of the 1st, yeah, do your thing. But for me, I think he's a 2nd-round guy, which is still a fantastic draft position. Travis Kelce got drafted in the 3rd or 4th. George Kittle got drafted. So it's not necessarily a knock, but I didn't see overwhelming number 1 or Baby Gronk. That talk, that crazy talk. I didn't see any of that. But I do got him at 4, man. I think he's got. I don't even want to necessarily say he's got the highest floor because I think there's guys here that are going to ball, but he's got one of the higher floors of these guys for sure. But I just don't know. Like I said, like Christian Laettner, I don't know if he's got any room to get any better or show us anything else that he showed us at Duke. You know what I'm saying? And so that's where I'm at with him.
All right, well, come on with your number 3 in because I got him on my list too. I got Michael Mayer, man. We're gonna talk about him in just a second.
Gotcha. Number 3 for me, 2 and 3 was the place where I really kind of went back and forth. And right now, since I'm gonna save it and do it again. So number 3 right here is where I got Sam Laporta. And so Isaiah, I know you're in the building, man. He had some comments about Laporta, and so I wanted to shout him out, man. So I'll pull it up here now, man. If you're still here with me, I got you. It says Sam Laporta is his Kelsey type. Michael Mayer, he also compared Michael Mayer, excuse me. He also compared to Witten. Darnell Washington, he compared to Algie Crumpler, and then Dalton Kincaid, the guy who hasn't been introduced on either one of our lists at this point, he compared to Gerald Everett. I'm assuming that's Gerald Everett from the Seahawks now. Or
Right.
Seahawks now, or the Rams? No, the Rams now. He wasn't the Seahawks. He's on the Rams now, ain't he?
He used to be. Did he come back to the Rams? Maybe I don't know.
I don't know where he's at now.
He was just with the Chargers.
Excuse me, the Chargers. Okay, excuse me.
Because he the one who ran that lazy route, and Herbert.
Threw that interception in the. Yeah, he did. Yeah, man, the man needed to blow. Man, he should have gave him a blow. But if you out there, man, yeah, that was terrible. That was piss poor effort, boy. You got to if they not gonna sub, you gotta look just like, hey, I ain't got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't play. I ain't got it. Because he didn't, it was terrible. I'm going Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta for me, he could have been number 2. Honestly, he could have been number 1. You know what I'm saying? But I end up settling at 2. Now, this is the guy. Sam Laporta is the player that I would have thought Michael Mayer was Sam Laporta. Because I think Sam Laporta blocks better. I think he's a better blocker. He's more dynamic with the ball in his hand for sure. Well, let me just get it. So I think he is the guy. He is the closest to the modern true life combo tight end. Like, I don't think it's a disadvantage to put him in line. It's definitely not, especially at Iowa, because Iowa runs the ball. That's George Kittle came from Iowa. You know what I mean? And so, and he's not the only one. There's been a couple good tight ends came out of Iowa. Did T.J. Hockenson come out of Iowa? TJ Hockenson came out. Noah Fant did.
I would be producing some tight ends.
Iowa does produce tight ends, and so, and they also they're an old school Big Ten football team. They run the ball, and so he does a fair amount of blocking. Now, same thing like I said with Michael Mayer. He's not an otherworldly blocker, but he's competent. You know what I mean? Like, whereas I feel like Michael Mayer he's adequate at blocking, but I think his blocking needs improvement. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's adequate. He's not just whiffing. You know what I'm saying? Like, he'll put his body in there. He'll pick his spots where he could try to, load up on the guy. But for the most part, he's not really. I wouldn't say he's a real difference maker in the run game as far as the blocking is concerned. I think Sam Laporta is more of he's more of a sufficient blocker. And I think, like I said, he offers real inline traditional wide tight end pliability. He also can split out. And so some of these guys, they can split out, but I don't want them lined up on the line. Some of these guys can line up, but I don't want to split them out. I think he's probably got the best combination of both. I think he's just as dangerous when he's lined up in the traditional Y, and he's equally as dangerous as a mismatch when we split him out and let him play big slot. And so I think he's the guy that's got the best mix of that. He had more wiggle than I thought. You know what I mean? Like, he's not like he's not trucking guys or throwing nasty stiff arms and running through dudes' chest. No, not that. He's got a little wiggle. You know what I mean? He'll catch, turn quick, and give you a real little, quick little jab step, side step one. He's got a little wiggle, which I just didn't expect to see. I didn't really know much about him until we got into this, honestly. I like his route running. I saw separation. And you know what's crazy? I watched him after Michael Mayer. And so where I was watching Michael Mayer, like, boys are wearing Michael Myers like a sweater. You know what I'm saying? Michael Mayer played 60 snaps with a hoodie on because he had boys all over. He couldn't get away from nobody. But he's got reliable hands. He can go up and make catches, which is awesome. But at some point, you got to break one of these boys off. All these guys ain't going to the league, Michael Mayer. Which one of these kids you breaking off? I ain't see that. You know what I'm saying? Michael Myers Sam Laporta get you something. You know what I'm saying? Sam Laporta, he'll get a quarterback 3 yards to work with. You know what I'm saying? He comes up, so I like this route running. I take that back. I said Luke Musgrave had the day against Sidney Brown. No, that was Sam Laporta. Forgive me. I just seen in my notes. I highlighted that play with Sidney Brown. Everything I said about that play was Luke Musgrave against Sidney Brown. That was Sam Laporta. Forgive me. But yeah, gave him a little stick nine. Took him on top for about 30 yards. The guy he put me in the mind of, and I know our dog Isaiah, man, compared him to Travis Kelce, and I guess I can kind of see where you're going with that, but I went back just a little bit. Dallas Clark. Dallas Clark was who he kind of started putting me in the mind of. And
like,
there's one thing as well I didn't think
I
about.
like that, Willie Jack. I
You
like
feel that? Hey, man, I'm glad, man, because I was like, man, I don't know if boys really remember Dallas Clark. Dallas Clark, because Dallas Clark was a guy, he was an inline tight end. He wore 44, and so it made him, he always looked like a fullback to me because he wore 44, and this is back when the numbers meant something. You know what I'm saying? But Sam Laporte is 6'3", 240 pounds, like 6'3", 240, 245. So he's not a huge guy. He's not 6'5", 250. He's not 6'6", 250. He's not 6'7", 275. You know what I'm saying? He's not overly big, but he lines up in line. He can handle and do his job in the blocking game. He's dependable. And just kind of like Dallas Clark, you give him a little space, he can boogie. You know what I'm saying? You get Dallas Clark a little space, he can boogie. You know what I'm saying? He can move. He can run a little bit. So he really put me in the mind of Dallas Clark. Dallas Clark and another Iowa tight end happenstance. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't going for that, but Dallas Clark also was a tight end from Iowa. But that's what he put me in the mind of, man. But like I said, he's at 3. I could have made an argument for 2 and 3 is where I went back and forth. But he's at 3. He comfortably could have been at 2. And honestly, I could have made an argument to put him at number 1 for me personally. You know what I'm saying? Because I do think he is the best. He's the best guy, I think, that's a combination of the both. And so I really liked his film a lot. He's a guy that I could keep watching. Like I really liked watching his film.
Gotcha. I thought you was gonna say Chris Cooley at first. I was watching that one too.
You know what? I had Cooley down for somebody else on here. I got you.
All right, we're gonna jump into it in a little bit, man. But let me go ahead to my number 3, Willie Jack, because I got these exact same guys in the exact same order, but it's my 3 and 2. You know what I'm saying? So number 3, Michael Mayer, man. Michael Mayer. So here's my analysis of Michael Mayer, man. When I watched him, I saw inconsistencies. Okay, and the things that I watch, you can watch his highlight tape and you'll see one thing, and he'll look like, okay, he might be the best tight end. But then you go watch it and break down this film, he starts to remind me of what I call a bully. Okay, and the thing about bullies, man, bullies always pick on the ones that's a little bit smaller, a little bit weaker, and those type of things. But then when a bully go up against somebody else that just like Zach Randolph told DeMarcus Cousins, hey, we bully bullies where I'm from. You know what I'm saying?
Bully around here, bro.
Bullies get bully where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? So DeMarcus Cousins, you think you're a bully? Come on, see me then, because this is what I do for real. And when Ohio State came into town to talk to him, I saw a different player, man. I saw a guy that shrunk a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So let me break him down a little bit, okay? So big tight end, I think that lost weight for the combine, first off. You know what I'm saying? He came into the combine 6'4", 249, 250. I think he looked like he was about 260, you know what I'm saying, playing tight end.
I thought he was a bigger guy as well, yeah.
I thought he still moved decent. You know what I'm saying? He didn't move. He wasn't slow or anything like that. I saw him a couple times and doing a good job of, like, with his size, like dead leg and sticking his foot in the ground to create a little bit of separation. You know what I'm saying? And against defenders. Doesn't quite have the agility or acceleration from stop to start, though. So, like, it's one thing when you move in around 75% speed and you can do a move and go left and right. You know what I'm saying? But when I watch him run full speed, try to stop, turn around, and come back the other direction, like he ran like a what we call it, like a I forgot what the routes called. But he comes in around like 5 yards and try to stop and go back outside.
Oh, like a whip route,
That's what it is. That's what I was trying to think of. We call it whip route. So he tries to run a whip route, and he pretty much gets stuck.
The worst whip route you've ever seen. I seen that play. That's part of what I was talking. I saw that, bro. The worst whip route you've ever seen.
No separation. Like, that's what I saw, from him against that in Ohio State game.
Yeah.
In other games also, I see him straight bully people. I first started to see him, I was like, oh, he a bully in the run game too. Okay, I see why they call him Baby Gronk. But then I see him against Ohio State, and he shrink. He don't get anything in the ball. You see him whipping a lot. You don't see him driving anybody off the ball. In fact, you see I think it looks like a safety. They come up one arm, pushes him back, and off balance, almost fall to the ground. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's those inconsistencies where I'm like, hey, man, are you really for real? Or you just play like this against lesser competition? You know what I'm saying? And for me, that makes a difference for me. It's like, okay, I need to see you do this against top competition. And Willie, you always talk about it too.
Hey,
You
man,
know, we want to see it against top competition.
I want to see it
Now,
against them boys, against them guys.
he has potential, and maybe it could have just been some bad games. I can take that. You know, maybe it was some bad games. We'll see at the next level. You know, when he has to go against dogs each and every week. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I saw a lot from him, and those inconsistencies are the reason why I got him in my number 3 spot versus number 2 or number 1, where a lot of people I felt like had him up as high as that, you know, and like you said, maybe fall in that late first round, you know, type category. You know, I do, like you said, do think he can be successful. I saw a little bit of like in like his highlights, I saw a little bit of Mark Andrews in his game, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't think that he was consistent enough for me to say, okay, no, he's a legit top prospect. I can put him up there with the top guys, you know, and leave him there. But yeah, he had a lot of inconsistencies. He can catch the ball. Now that's for sure.
He's got hands now. Like that's one thing I had to get into. I loved his hands.
The boy got hands, and the boy is good with contested catches too. You know what I'm saying? People all over his back. You know what I'm saying? He's tough. And even sometimes that's another thing too, Willie Jack, that made me feel like he shrunk a little bit, or he was like more like a bully, because I saw at first, man, I was like, oh, he might be like, we don't use this term a lot. You can be good, but it's the difference between being a good and being a dog. I was like, he might be a dog. You know what I'm saying? When you see certain plays, but I'm like, nah, I don't know, dog. Dogs don't ever shrink. Dogs is dogs regardless. Yeah. In order for me to call you a dog no matter what. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who in front of you. I don't care how big or how tall the guys in front of you. You a dog. When you wake up in the morning, you a dog. At 3 a.m. when you snoring in your sleep, you a dog no matter when. You know what I'm saying? So for me, those inconsistencies was the reason why I got him at the number 3 spot and not a little bit higher. And I like I said, I still believe that Luke Musgrave still has more potential than him.
No, me as well.
If he, depending on how he recovers from that knee injury.
No, exactly. And that's the thing too. Like, and sometimes it happens like this on the list where like Luke Musgrave is rated behind Michael Myers on me. I'm drafting Luke Musgrave before I draft Michael Myers. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I draft Luke Musgrave. Luke Musgrave is the guy for me. If I'm in the bottom of the first and like I said, and I can afford to take a chance, I don't mind swinging on Luke Musgrave. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? The situation's right. You know what I mean? But Michael Myers for me is definitively, he's a definitive second rounder for me. But I agree. It was those things that you said as well. Like I always felt like he was on the verge of showing me something special, and then he would just back down. Like he would just build, and then he just kept falling off right before he really kind of stepped into like, no, I'm a monster out here. You know what I mean?
Watch this, Willie Jack. Kind of like Justin Herbert. If I say here, he ain't gonna like that. He ain't gonna like it.
He ain't gonna like it. Look, now you picking, man. Look,
I
now
am.
you picking, dog.
I am. My bad. I just had to say something because I know he gonna come with something, man.
Yeah, man. But it sounds like we kind of seen them pretty separately though. Cause that's the same way. And that's the thing. Like for me, man, like those moments you're talking about, it was definitely in the run game because like I want to see the nasty, and there is some of it in there, but then it's some of it where it just looks like, hold on, man, you supposed to be one-on-ones, big dog. Like, hey, man, boy can't throw you out the way like that. Boy, why you on the ground? Boy can't push you over like that, man. What you doing? You know what I'm saying? So it just kind of soured a little bit of the taste I have for him, but still a great player though. And so I think he was my 4, your 3, so we pretty close on that.
Gotcha. And then my number 2, man, like I said, it's the same order as you, but it's just a little bit higher. It's my Sam Laporta, man. Sam Laporta, for a lot of the reasons that you said, is my number 2 guy. I think he has some special qualities to him. 6'3", 245. I think all these tight ends are pretty good size, and none were like undersized to me. But he was a good athlete at the tight end position. I think he's very versatile tight end that lined up pretty much all over the field. Now, this is gonna sound like I feel like Iowa overused him in a sense, because that same Illinois game, right? That same Illinois game that he did get off against, that
City Brown,
the safety that you were talking about. Towards the end of the game, him being the number 1 target, who went to go see him, right?
Oh well, yeah.
And he erased all that. Devin Witherspoon said, "Okay, it's game time. It's 4th quarter. It's game on the line. hey, bro, you got to
Yeah.
see me now. You know what I'm saying?
But hey,
Now, granted,
in fairness, that's a compliment to him, though.
yeah, for sure. What I'm saying is like I don't know. And when I watched his game and what he was able to do on the outside, I think he's better suited. If you're gonna split him out, keep him in the slot, keep him inside. I don't think he's as suited as Iowa was trying to use him for at the
Oh yeah,
outside,
they actually him line up
outside receiver spot at
yeah.
an X or you know what I'm saying, something like that. I think you move him. You can split him out in the slot. Do a lot of different things with him. You can move him around, motion him left to right. You can do a lot of that stuff with him. But lining up straight head to head against an NFL corner, I don't know if he'll be able to get away with it like he was against some of the lesser competition. Because like I said, he did his thing. But when Devin Witherspoon was going to see him, you know what I'm saying, it was a different story with the game on the line. The quarterback was struggling trying to find him open, you know what I'm saying, because my guy was there. Like I said, Devin Witherspoon is both our number one corner. He's our number one. He's one of the one. He a dog. Yeah. Like I said, we talking about. He's a dog. He's the number one corner for both of us. Essentially. So that's. I mean, that's so you can take that with a grain of salt or however you want to look at that. But that's what I saw. I think they overuse him in that sense. But in terms of his skill and what he's able to do, like I said, very versatile tight end. Be able to line up all over the field. You know what I'm saying? I would say from slot to slot, you can put him anywhere. He has a little bit of shake to him, like you said, a little bit of shake.
He had a little wiggle. I was surprised. I wasn't ready for it. Yeah,
against man coverage, man, and able to set defenders up. So I think he can be a mismatch nightmare for larger defenders, and smaller defenders. I think he can be a mismatch nightmare in that wheelhouse, though, within that smaller area. You know what I'm saying? He makes a good adjustments to the ball, good hands, and he's another one of those tight ends who can surface as a blocker, man. He won't maul defenders, but he'll, like I said,
he gets the job done though. Like I felt more comfortable with his blocking than I did Michael Meyer, honestly.
For sure. So he'll definitely get his nose in there, man. He can definitely be a guy that that gets the job done. Essentially that's what it is, man. He can do that. He can get the job done. So that's why I got him in my number 2 spot. And yeah, man, something about them Iowa tight ends, man. They produce, man. I ain't seen one that hasn't been all right, at least all right. You know what I'm saying? The league, you know what I'm saying? And that's continuing to play. So I got Sam Laporta my number 2, man.
No, for sure. And like I said, man, I 2 and 3 for me, man. I went back and forth on, and honestly, it's just kind of depending on the flavor. So and I'll go ahead and use my number 2 now, man. I'm gonna do Darnell Washington for Georgia. Now, this is the thing about Darnell Washington. And I normally I would have just talked about him then, but he was so far up. Like he was your 5, and if he was like my 4, it's right, but he was way up here too. But so Darnell Washington was where I'm gonna go with 2. Like him and Sam Laporta, either way, like they're interchangeable for me as far as that. Now, completely different. You know what I'm saying? One's apples, one oranges for sure. So now, for one, like we've kind of talked about, it's Trent Williams. If Trent Williams lost 20 pounds, he'd be Darnell Washington. You know what I'm saying? If Trent Williams lost 20 pounds, no, 30 pounds. Trent's a big boy. Trent Williams lost about 30 pounds. Anyway, my point is that's how dynamic he is as a run blocker, or just as a blocker. Because he sits in and picks up the pass protection as well, while Brock Bowers out there getting busy as well. But you don't draft tight ends to block during the pass though. But he in the run game, he's a top 10 blocker across positions in the run game. And I'm talking about if you made a list of just top 10 run blockers in the league, it's gonna be Trent Williams, it's gonna be Zach Martin, it's gonna be Quentin Nelson. You're gonna get further up down that list, and it's gonna be Darnell Washington at tight end. You know what I'm saying? And then you're gonna get back into Orlando Brown and whoever else. You see what I'm saying? Like,
I heard you.
So he's that's how strong the run blocking is, and that can't be discounted. Now, here's the thing: is what I was talking about earlier, and he looks like Gronk. I'm talking about like. When you tell me baby Gronk, Michael Meyer ain't nowhere near as big to be baby Gronk. I'm talking about just his size profile. Because that's how big Gronk was. That's what also why Gronk is so special. That's how big Gronk looked too big to be on the field. Like, that's how he looks. He's massive. And he was at the combine, he lost weight. He got this 264 at the combine. But I think his play weight was somewhere closer to like 275. Or something like that is what they had him listed at. Somewhere closer to 275 at Georgia. 6'7", 275. And so, but he looks like Gronk moving. He's a huge lumbering runaway freight train, and that's how I feel like Gronk was in the open field. Gronk, he catches the pass, and boy, y'all, but good luck. You know what I'm saying? Because he is a breakaway train. It's like you can hear Gronk running. You know what I'm saying? Get off me. I'm dragging dudes. You fell off. You're too small. Get off me. Big ass arm braces and everything. You know what I'm saying? He was a tank. You know what I'm saying? That like yeah, but like that type of size. And then now here's the thing as well. He played with the best tight end in college football for the last 2 years running in Brock Bowers. He's gonna be a guy. He's gonna be a lottery pick. We don't talk about lottery picks in the NFL. He's gonna be a lottery pick. You know what I'm saying? In the NBA, you get picked in the top. Was it top 12? You that's the lottery or whatever the case. Brock Bowers gonna be a lottery pick. So he played with that guy, and so his usage, he doesn't quite have the usage or the target share that maybe he could have. But at the same time, he's always going to prosper. Was going to prosper in a place that let him be such a vital part of that run game as well. But there is still more meat on that bone as well. And so, I'm sorry, I'm tripping. I'm doing all this talking. I ain't even got to my notes. All right. Okay, this yeah. Okay, so this is what I was going to get into. So earlier, what I was talking about, he's unrefined. Like I really think this is a guy just like you said before. He's not gonna be Travis Kelce. He's not gonna dice you up. He's not gonna give you 11 catches for 146 yards and you know what I'm saying, and 2 tubs in the right game. Like that. That's not what he's gonna be. But a la Gronkowski, he can get you 6 for 89, 2 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like because in the like when you see him catch the ball, like he can go get it. You know what I'm saying? Like he'll get up a little bit. He'll jump and twist and grab the ball. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? And then the guys hit him and bounce off of him. When he lands, man, you better pray to God he don't get to take 4 steps. Because if he get 4 steps, that's too much momentum. Now you can't bring him down. You know what I'm saying? You got to get to him and get him early. You know what I'm saying? Get him low and pray to God he falls down. You know what I'm saying? So like I just think there's so much more there. And I'm thinking it's definitely going to be a team that's going to I want him used the same way the Patriots used Gronk. So we're still gonna run the ball. It's gonna be a lot of play action and a lot of deep overs and seams. That was Gronk. Deep seams, deep posts, deep overs. You know what I'm saying? Because he needs a little runway to get his speed up. You know what I'm saying? Because he runs relative. He's got a good 40 time. He ran 4.6. You know what I'm saying? He ran 4.6. I can't remember what his 10-yard split was, but I want to say it was like 1.6, 10-yard split. That's the same 10-yard split as Will Anderson, the guy y'all say is the number 1 defender in the draft. A lot of these people say. Well, he's got the same. It takes him 10. He runs 10 yards the same time that Darnell Washington does. So he's big and lumbering. He's moving. You know, he's moving. You know what I'm saying? And so I think there's just so much more there. That's why I made a comparison to Giannis. When Giannis first got into the league, he was still growing into his own body. Now I'm not saying he's growing into his body, but he hasn't even used that to learn. He hasn't even learned how to use his body yet. Now that Giannis has unlocked all 7 feet, he's up to 250 pounds of muscle now. You know what I'm saying? You can't touch Giannis. Giannis crosses half court. He needs 3 steps to take a layup. Literally, there's footage. You know what I'm saying? If he catches a pass in stride from about half court, he can lay it up in 3 steps. That's the type of freak athlete that I'm talking about for Darnell Washington on the football field. He's too big. He's going to be too fast, especially when he gets if he's used properly. If you're going to send him like little 5-yard turnarounds, you're wasting him. Like, no, he needs deep developing play actions. Let him get open. Like I said, let that plane take off the runway. You know what I'm saying? Cargo jet can't use the same runway as a private plane. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, man, I got a little bit more cargo in here. I need a little bit more room. But let me get rolling, and boy, ain't nobody gonna stop me. Ain't nobody gonna bring me down. And so he put me in this. I went old school with his comparison as well. I don't know if a lot of y'all remember what this guy looked like when he played. But Bubba Franks from the Packers, way back in the day, man. Brett Favre's tight end, one of Brett Favre's guys, Bubba Franks. I was trying to think of I was like, man, who's like a big ass tight end that was just a tremendous run blocker. But you know what I'm saying? Now, Bubba Franks didn't develop into the style of receiving threat that I'm hoping Darnell Washington. In my mind, bro, I want him to, he's not going to be Gronk, but I want him to be, like, that's the mode of player I can see. Like, if he lands anywhere in the Gronk tree, he'd be on the bottom branch of Gronk's tree. That's Gronk's tree. You know what I'm saying? If he reaches the bottom branch of Gronk's tree, he's all time. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's too big. He's like, I remember like Jimmy Graham. Because Jimmy Graham didn't really run routes, but man, I'm gonna go post you up in the end zone. I'm going to the seventh floor. I'm gonna leave you on the fifth. Touchdown, big dog. What you gonna do? But Jimmy Graham, and forgive me, Jimmy, I know you watch the show sometime. Soft as cotton, man. You know what I'm saying? Like if he was 6'7", 270, wasn't busting no grapes though. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm looking at Jimmy Graham's size. I'm looking at Gronk's physicality. You know what I'm saying? And he's a reasonable athlete. When 270 pounds is running at 4'6", boy, who's getting in front? I tell you, know who else ran 4'6"? Devontae Adams ran 4'6". Yeah, no, 4'5'8", whatever the case. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying is he's plenty athletic enough. Now it's not going to be stop start agile type of like running. But I'm telling you, like I think this guy's at the worst case he's your swing tackle. At worst case he's your swing tackle. Worst case he takes your run game from 16th in the league. You're a top 10 running team now when he gets here. If you're outside the top 10 as a running team, you're a top 10 running team now. I don't care who they hand the ball to. That's how impressive and phenomenal and dynamic he is as a blocker in your run game. And it's not just on the line. He gets out in space. He's hunting. He's hunting boys.
Yeah.
So I just think there's so much there that can be tapped into. Now, whether or not it does get tapped into, whether or not it's in there for him to bring it out. But some of this is going to be a little bit of the projection game. And I'm telling you right now, I see a acorn Gronk, and I want to see if he can grow into a Gronk tree. You know what I'm saying? That's what he looks like to me. And like I said, worst case, he's a swing tackle. Worst case, like I said, he's the best run blocker tight end in football tomorrow. And I'm talking about George Kittle. Worst case tomorrow, he's George Kittle in your run game tomorrow. Tomorrow, he's George Kittle in your run game. If he don't do nothing else. You feel me?
I'll say this, Willie Jack. Another guy I was thinking too was Mercedes Lewis. Mercedes Lewis had a long career in the NFL too. He's 38 years old right now. He just finished off.
He just finished playing. Yeah.
Just finished year of his career. Very successful tight end, I would say, in the league too.
Yeah, no, Jacksonville for a long time. He was a long time in Jacksonville, and I think he finished up with the Packers.
Yeah, so I like him as well. The only thing I would say is even with the Gronk comparisons, you see the size and everything. You see him jumping over defenders that's trying to tackle him, things like that. The only thing I would say, of course, Gronk was more advanced as a pass catcher coming out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then also like Gronk, as big as he was, man, he would line up out there wide receiver and hit a cornerback with a quick slant, and it'd be over. It'd be dead.
He's just too big. I get that shoulder pass, and you're not getting back in front of me. You're dead.
I don't know if even with his size, he would have the ability to be as quick to do something like that. When I watch him run and watch him move, and now we all will see what he develops into, of course. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, man. No,
that's what I'm saying. Well, there's only one Gronk for sure. Now, even with Gronk though,
absolutely.
But that's still gonna be not as Gronk made his money on the end of lining up next to the right tackle. You know what I'm saying? That's where he made his money at. You know what I'm saying? More so than even when he split out. You know what I'm saying? But he made his money in the line. But no, I do like he's man, Gronk was special. Like I said, seeing this guy reminded me just how special and how dominant Gronk really was. Because Gronk was an animal in the run game. Is what you know what I'm saying? Gronk was the things we're saying about Darnell Washington. That was Gronk. Until I just saw Darnell Washington, there was never going to be another tight end that could block as well as Gronk did, or as aggressive and as powerful as did. And now George Kittle is an animal as well. He ain't Gronk. He still ain't Gronk. He's not Gronk in the run. Gronk was, and that's not a slight against Kittle, but man, Gronk is different. This guy, I'm telling you, he's a top 10 run defender. He's a top 10 run blocker in the league tomorrow, and he plays tight end, not tackle. I'm telling you right now. So I end up going there with him for number 2. But like I said, 2 and 3, him and Sam Laporta, I can go either way of either one of them. And so our dog Isaiah brought up Darnell, man. So I went ahead and let him sit in the number 2 seat, man, so I can show him some extra love. But yeah, I got him as my number 2, and then I guess number 1 for me, man. Surprise, or maybe no surprise. I got Dalton Kincaid out of Utah. Now, this is the thing about Dalton Kincaid, man. First off, he's a slot receiver. I don't want him smelling the breath of my right tackle. I don't want him in line. You know what I mean? Like I think that like he's got excellent hands. I think he's an excellent like hands catcher. Is what you know what I'm saying? Like he goes and tracks and gets the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like he's got excellent hands. Uh, he runs great routes. He stays low. You know what I'm saying? Like when he fires off the line, he's not, you know what I'm saying? He's not, no, he runs like he knows. He runs low. He makes good breaks. He makes sharp, good breaks on his ins and his outs. You know what I'm saying? Like he runs real sharp routes from what I can see, especially to this point. He's a guy kind of like you were saying with Darnell Washington with Gronk right now. Is man, I'm not gonna lie. I saw him in the slot against. I mean, now linebackers, that's food. That's now you're not playing fair. Safeties wasn't no better. Safeties got work. I mean, there's just not many times that I feel like somebody actually like got the best of them or covered this guy. You know what I mean? And it's not by accident or mistake when I'm watching the play. Now he's a complete liability in the run game, and so that's it. So don't even kid yourself. Nobody's believing you on that play action if you got him lined up as your wide tight end. Everybody, if he's lined up at wide and the running back gives us like run read, nobody's falling for it because we know damn well Duncan Kincaid is not going to be your inline blocker on this outside zone or this power play. So nobody's buying it, nobody's fooling it, but that's okay because he's good enough, he's dynamic enough that man, we can figure something out. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want him to come off the field. And if we've got to run the ball, okay, we'll bring a guy in or run away from him. Like I said, he's never going to be at the point of attack. Not if I'm his coach. But like I said, man, just complete liability in the run game. There's no power or resistance when he's trying to inline block. He tries to kind of get in the way. You know what I'm saying? Just get in the way, slow him down. Just, you know what I'm saying? Which is, if that's all you got, man, give it to me. But I think he's a very fluid athlete. I think he's got tons of like run after catch potential. You know what I'm saying? Because he can run. He can really run. He can really move. Man, this is the guy. When I was trying to compare him, man, I was like, the way he's used, as dynamic and as proficient as he is as a pass catcher, I was like, man, like I couldn't think of anybody else to really compare to. I said Kelsey just because of like he's a guy you could build an offense around Dalton Kincaid. I really think so. You can build an offense around Travis Kelce. We've seen it done. Like he's a guy. He can be the center. He can be your Mark Andrews. He can be your Travis Kelce. You know what I'm saying? George Kittle isn't the centerpiece of that Niners offense. Darren Waller isn't the centerpiece of that Raiders, and he won't be, or I'm assuming he won't be for this Giants offense. You know what I'm saying? So like Tony Gonzalez was the centerpiece of a Chiefs running game. He was the centerpiece of their passing game for a long time. So it's a different type of guy, different type of cat that you can actually like go out like, no, our tight end is our number one. Him and Travis Kelce are those guys. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So and then I was trying to find comparisons for him. I kind of looked at Chris Cooley because I was trying to find like an undersized tight end that like an undersized tight end that really shouldn't be on the line, but I wasn't comfortable with that Chris Cooley as well. So
I'm gonna mess you up. I got the perfect comparison, but go ahead. I'm gonna get to him in just a second.
Okay, yeah, well, yeah, but like I didn't find anybody I was necessarily comfortable with because he's more than Chris Cooley. You know what I'm saying? And he still doesn't have quite. Chris Cooley has still a little more. He offered just a little more in the run game, and so I'm still thinking like young Kelce. You know what I'm saying? But he's way more refined as a catcher and a route runner than young Kelce. Even though young Kelce was an athlete and he got busy, but as far as in the run game, where Kelce used to be just a complete liability, and that was always the knock against Kelce towards the end of Gronk's run, where Kelce was really heating up. First thing anybody would say was like, man, Kelce ain't blocking shit. Kelce ain't blocking a soul. You know what I mean? Well, he's got a lot better now. And then right after that, then you get George Kittle that comes in who's blocking his ass off. And so then that still is a ding against Kelce because people take shots at his blocking. Well, he's way more proficient now. He's not excellent. He's not great. He's not washing nobody off the line now. You know what I mean? He's not doing anything like that. But now he can get his job done. Kind of like we talked about with Sam Laporta. Travis Kelce can get the job done. Now, don't ask him to do something he can't, but he can live.
And it don't matter. It don't matter anyway when you a tight end getting 1,400 yards and 15 touchdowns.
Man, thank you. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm getting at. You took the words out of my mouth. Man, I don't give a damn about none of that, man. So you didn't help us run 6 yards. I'll tell you what, go give me 30. You're like, yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't hold down Brandon Graham at the point of attack. Andy Reid, that's your fault for asking me to do it. You okay? Now throw me the ball 30 yards up the seam. Watch what I do. Like exactly right, bro. Like
Watch me go crazy.
man, yeah, exactly, yeah, for sure. So that's the guy settled in at number one, man. And he's the guy that I was talking about. Isaiah Memphis still in the building. He's the guy I was saying, like, I think he's a first round guy. He's a first round guy, and he's a guy. Man, I think it's as early as, I mean, well, the obvious one would be Green Bay at 15, who has a hole and a need for a tight end, and not just a tight end, but a third receiver as well. But at the same time, Green Bay, I don't necessarily know scheme wise. They got a two-headed monster at running back, so I don't necessarily think, like, I would love to see Darnell Washington in Green Bay. I would love to see that. You know what I'm saying?
Bring back the old Green Bay Packers days, which like you said, Bubba Frank.
Yeah, just kind of exactly bring it right back. But no, man, even Washington, Eric Bieniemy coming over. Eric Bieniemy he needs his Travis Kelce. He went to Washington for Kansas City. He's bringing over that scheme. That scheme doesn't go without Travis Kelce. And then you got a guy like Dalton Kincaid that you can get at pick 16. And I don't think that's overpaying. I don't think it's overvalued at all. I think he's well worth that 16 pick. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. I think he can be special. So I think I like that too.
Oh yeah. So yeah.
Go ahead. I was gonna say.
I was just gonna toss it to you. I was gonna say, yeah, that's the guy I got at the top, man. So I was toss to you.
I got you. And without surprise, that's my guy. I got it number 1 too. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna start it off with the comparison, Willie Jack, because he's a guy that me and you talk about. And if this guy was to ever explode and reach his full potential, I think this is what Dalton Kincaid would look like. Mike Gesicki. If Mike Gesicki reached his potential, Dalton Kincaid. Okay, Dalton Kincaid can be there. And it's weird to compare Mike Gesicki if he reaches his potential to.
No, I like Gesicki. I was a Gesicki guy. Yeah, I like.
When I watch Gesicki, and you see some of the catches he makes, and how fluid he is, how athletic he is. You know what I'm saying? His routes. I watch Dalton Kincaid, and I don't see much of a difference. You know what I'm saying? First off, Dalton Kincaid is the most natural pass catcher in this draft in terms of the tight ends for sure.
No, well, actually, you can say that him and Jackson Smith and Jigba are probably the two best just pass catchers in this draft. I would go there with you. Like,
so here's the thing too. Dalton Kincaid is still 246 pounds. You know what I'm saying? 6'4". Now he moves like a slot receiver for sure. He moves like he actually looks like one of those old school slot receivers. Not before they start getting the short ones. When they still had all the tall slot receivers, Ricky Pro, what's my guy he played with?
I was trying to think of slot receivers when I think
Stokely with Indianapolis.
Thank you. Oh my God. I was trying to think of receivers. Man, was it Eric Stokely or Brian Stokely?
Brandon, I think Brandon
Stokely. Yeah, Brandon Stokely.
That's what he looks like when he's out there running routes, man. He looks like one of those.
I'll tell you who else he looks like. Now I'm thinking, a little bit of Eric Decker.
You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of guys out there,
because he's white. I don't know, man, but
I think Eric Decker play a little bit more outside though, but yeah, y'all get the point.
Because he doesn't look 245. He didn't look 245.
He didn't look 245. I think he possibly could have bulked up a little bit. He probably plays about 235, maybe.
I would believe that. Yeah, I would definitely. Yeah. I wouldn't argue with you. Yeah.
Either way, man, when you watch him, man, runs great routes. Good out the line of scrimmage, patient with his route running, great hands. I'm talking about. I see special in Dalton Kincaid, and the reason I say that is because he can do certain things with his body so naturally and effortless that a lot of people struggle to do. It was one catch on the sideline. The boy was eating in this game in particular, but one catch on the sideline, he was running and in mid-run jumps off 1 foot, twisting in the air, and he catches the ball on the sideline, 1 foot in bounds. You know what I'm saying? Deep play down the sideline to put his team in position. He practically carried his team, to almost a victory in that high scoring affair against who did they go against? Man, it was a shootout. But
was that
he was hitting Donkey USC? Yeah, USC. He was eating against USC. Yeah. And he carried his team, man, almost to a victory, high scoring game, and they fought. But he showed up. He showed like, hey man, I don't know what y'all gonna do.
As advertised,
hop on my back and watch me go to work. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about up the seam, turning around, spinning, pulling it up, down to his body, securing the ball, like doing all those different things. It just looks effortless. Like, you know how beautiful it used to look when I'm gonna go back to the Steelers, man. Old school. Lynn Swan used to glide in the air and catch the ball.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? That's how smooth his game looks, man, when he's going up and making those catches, man.
Mm-hmm.
Good at the catch point. You know what I'm saying? Anything when it came to receiving, man, this guy's a difference maker. Line him up anywhere on the field, move him around, do what you want to do. Like you said, Willie Jack, I 100% agree with you. You can build your offense around this guy.
Exactly.
Right away. From day one, you can build your offense around him, and you can say, "Here, this is what I want you to do. I want you to move here, move here, move that. We're gonna do this. This is how we're gonna create this matchup." And he's going to be the one that open up things, not only for himself, because he's gonna be a matchup nightmare. I don't think there will be a guy on the field that'll be able to match up with him unless it's like one of the absolute. It's gonna have to be a top 3 guy in his position to match up with him.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Week in and week out. So I don't see a guy that'll be out there that'll be able to match up with him.
If he's not playing Fred Warner this week, he's cooking. Somebody's cooked. Your linebacker's cooked. It's three. There's 2, maybe 3 linebackers that got a chance. There's probably 3, 4 safeties that got a chance. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody's getting cooked.
For sure. You know what I'm saying? That's about that's you right. Exactly right, Willie Jack. Couldn't have said it better. So he's going to be a matchup nightmare, but also because he's a matchup, nightmare, whoever he's playing with, he's going to be the type of guy to make those guys better too. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So let's say he does end up in a Washington. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think these other guys necessarily need things, but it'll open up more for your Scary Terrys, your what's my guy name? That I told you, Johan Dotson. Like those guys, you're gonna see them guys eat a lot more. Now we don't know who's gonna be throwing the ball. We're gonna see what happens there.
Damn, they tell us.
Yeah, that's what they're telling us. But they told us a lot of things.
They did.
They told us a lot of things. But the thing is, man, I like this Dalton Kincaid kid, man. He's great. We know I'm not even going to even touch on his run blocking because we know that's not what he is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We know that teams are not going to ask him to do that down in and down out. He is a pass catching tight end, and he is 90, 100 catches, 12, 15 touchdowns a year type. That's the type of potential he has. Not saying his guaranteed, but that's his potential, man. So
100 catches,
line him up outside. We in the red zone. We on the foul line up outside. Run the fade, man. Run the fade. You know what I'm saying? You're too big for any corner to be out there guarding you.
And check this out. Don't even worry about the fade. Get in the slot. Run that whip route we was just talking about. He's going to break somebody off.
Oh, yeah. Run that. Matter of fact, I don't care where you go. You say to me where you going. And the ball coming. You know
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the type of talent I see in the Dalton Kincaid, man. I think this guy is really – I think he's special. I do think he's worth the top 15, top 20 pick in that first round. And if you do, hey, congratulations. You got yourself something. You know what I'm saying? To whatever team that's able to get him. So there we go, Willie Jack. That's my top 5, man.
I love it, man. I love it. You want to go ahead and recap them real quick? Oh, no, wait. Is there another guy, man, that anybody else you looked at or thought about or want to mention? Or
it was a couple guys out there, a couple names. Tucker Kraft, the guy at South Dakota State, man. He was a guy I looked at a little bit.
You know what? Stay on Tucker Kraft. Tucker Kraft was the guy I looked at as well. So I see what you said. Yeah.
So he looked like a man amongst boys, but of course the competition wasn't,
exactly.
That type of competition. You know what I'm saying? And there were still certain things that I needed to see a little bit more of in his passing, the receiving game. You know what I'm saying? And of course, run blocking, he wasn't going against some of the top dogs either, but he still didn't look, to be that. But he moves well. You know what I'm saying? He has tremendous ability. He has some good hands as well. He has a lot of good qualities to be, a solid NFL tight end, man, but I don't know how well he'll stack up against, some of the better guys, that he'll be facing at that next level. I mean, that's a big jump. It's already hard enough that tight end is the toughest position to transition to into the NFL. It usually takes tight ends, closer to 3 years than it does like your guys. Like some guys take 2. I mean, you see a lot of receivers lately. First year they
right in now,
You know what I'm saying? So for tight ends, it usually takes a little bit longer for them to adjust because it's a lot more to learn when you play in that position. You got to learn on the blocking schemes.
And it is so much more physical. Like the
Yes.
guys you're lining up against, it's full grown ass men. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when you play tight end in the league, especially like if you're an inline tight end, like this guy's an inline tight end, you lined up against Brandon Graham.
Yeah.
Hell, Chris Jones played DN for 6 games last year. He's 315 pounds. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it's full grown ass, like real big men out there. Like
For
you know what I'm
sure.
saying? So you just guys don't really come. You know when you start to get older, Chop got kids now. Chop bench probably went up 50 pounds just from having kids. He got his dad strength now. He got his grown man strength to sit in now. You know what I'm saying? It's something about you cross a certain threshold, you just get a different type of strength. It take a couple years to get that. You know what I'm saying? You come in the tight end, and yeah, you might be a big boy, but nah, man, you get in here with some of these grown men.
Yeah.
It's a different type of strength, man, and you gotta you really gotta acclimate to that. So, but no, he was the same guy for me, man. He was the guy that if this list was 6 instead of 5, he'd probably been my next guy up. But now here's the thing about this. If and I somebody else might have said this, but I agree. If I could have Michael Mayer in the first round or Tucker Kraft in the fourth round, I want Tucker Kraft in the fourth round. Like Tucker because I Tucker Kraft is he's a very elementary Michael Myers. Like neither one of them are great. He's the D2 Michael Myers or the double A Michael Myers, an inline guy. He's got similar size. I think both of them are limited athletes. You know what I'm saying? Both of them kind of like you said, like he had a little bit of bully ball there as well. He was a big kid. He was a big fish in a small pond, so he had a little bit of that bully ball going on as well. But at the same time, it wasn't just flat out just like, man, I'm just putting boys in the dirt like it probably should have been. But yeah, no, that was one of the guy that would have been next up for me as well.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
yeah.
what is that? Go on, recap your list, man. Tell me what you got.
For sure, man. Number 1, Dalton Kincaid out of Utah. Number 2, Darnell Washington out of the University of Georgia. Number 3, Sam Laporta from Iowa. Number 4, Michael Mayer from Notre Dame. And number 5, Luke Musgrave from Oregon State.
Gotcha. My list goes as follows. We both had Dalton Kincaid, number 1 man out of Utah. Sam Laporta, he was my number 2 guy, the Iowa guy. Them Iowa tight ends, man. Them Iowa tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame had him on number 3 spot. Luke Musgrave got him in my number 4 spot. And then we had Darnell Washington, man, rounding off my list as that number 5 spot. Willie Jack, you want to call it now? I think I called last week the tight ends, man. Are you calling this week?
You know, and that's the thing too. I was thinking, bro, because if I'm looking at the calendar right,
The draft is next week.
the draft is next week, right?
Yeah, the draft is next week.
Yeah, and so that means mock draft. That means next show is mock draft.
Next show is the mock draft.
Yeah, next show is the mock draft, bro. We got to do a mock draft before the draft. You put our picks out there. You know what I'm saying? We can check how we did, or you know what I'm saying, all that. So, yeah, probably next mock draft, or what are you thinking? We definitely got to mock. I'm gonna definitely do a mock for sure. I ain't gonna lie to you. I definitely gotta get some mocks out.
I tell you what, up to our film fam. We're gonna let you know what we're gonna do, because one thing we always do is we definitely do a draft special, man. We definitely do a draft special
For sure.
so we can talk about that and what that's gonna look like.
And it's the actual draft night, yeah.
So let's discuss this, Willie Jack, and we're gonna put something out, man. I'm gonna put something out before this week ends on what me and Willie Jack's plan is, so y'all know what's going on. So we can go and put it together for y'all, and we set up a great show for y'all, man. So that's what we're gonna do. Me and Willie Jack gonna talk about it, put something together, and we're gonna go from there. How does that sound?
Hey, sounds good. Sounds great, bro.
All right, man. Well, hey, look, that's it. That's all, man. We came in, we did what we had to do. We talked to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate everybody that came in the building, man, talk to us. Of course, we love to hear all the feedback. We love to hear the comments. For anybody that has their insights, we love to hear all of that, man, because we love to go back and forth with you guys and talk football, man. But other than that, Willie Jack, I'll turn it over to you, man. Let you bring it on home.
Hey, that's it. That's all you heard my dog say, man. We came, we saw, we conquered, man. Tight ends today. Appreciate all the love in the chat today, man. The members was definitely in the building, man. Real quick, man. Shout out to the home team, man. Mom Duke's in the building. My sister's in the building. Appreciate you. Auntie stopped through as well. Real deal STL Sports is in the building, holding us down, man. Appreciate the love as always, man. Our dog, Kevin Wilkerson was in the building, man. Our dog Isaiah was in the building as well, our Chargers fan, man. And now I'm looking for you. Yeah, you know how it is, man. Look, if I forgot to say your name, come on, man. Chargers to my head, man. Don't charge to my heart. We thinking about you, big dog. We appreciate all the love, man. Y'all know what's going on, man. Next week is it, man. The draft is here, man. Next week is the draft. Next Thursday, man, me and Chop, we're gonna get in the lab, man, see how we're gonna see if we're gonna get going and see what we're gonna do for you guys. So stay tuned in the group for that, man. Chop's real good about getting those type of messages out, man. So he'll make sure y'all know what's going on, man. And then, hey, other than that, man, we appreciate all the love and support. Tap in with them three amigos, man. Like, share, and subscribe, man. We appreciate all the love as always. Till next time, peace.
Peace.